And we're back. This is probably going to be one of my favorite days on the trail that we're going to talk about. So one of my favorite videos I'm going to be filming, because the greatest experience with any human or just interaction between strangers happened to me, and you're going to see for yourself. It's just make sure you listen to the whole video today. So we left off last time me coming to the realization that we will run out of food. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, we will not have enough food to get us to where our resupply is. So we are at the point where we are desperately, not just like wanting to, but we are desperately trying to hitchhike to a town. We either be hitchhiking or we'll be walking 10 miles each way minimum to get to the nearest resupply location that we hope that there is something there that we can buy food at, like a gas station, service center, anything that we can buy food, whatever food it is, and carry it with us until we get to Pinkham Notch. So that's where we're at. Now, the morning what I'm talking about, I don't have a date written on it. I did summit Old Blue Mountain. It was a tall enough mountain, and I got good enough cell service that I was able to give my family a call. I told them kind of like vaguely of what's going on with our food situation, kind of what I'm going to be doing. My mom was not happy to hear I was going to be hitchhiking, but we really didn't have a choice. So I did give them a call, give them a fair warning of what kind of like our situation was, and then we kept hiking because, again, as I mentioned last time, we really had to keep moving in order to get our chances to get to Pinkham Notch before food ran out, or to get to Andover Road. So Andover was going to be one day, Eastview was going to be the following day. And I had so much time allocated at each spot to hitchhike that we could spend there before we had to just keep moving, because we had to keep making progress. We couldn't just stay and eat and not keep hiking. Otherwise, we wouldn't make it to Pinkham at all. We would just die in the woods. So we get to Andover Road after I give my family a call at Blue Mountain. Old Blue Mountain. And at Andover, so the chances of hitchhiking are slim to none. As we all know these days, no one wants to pick up a hitchhiker. No hitchhiker really wants to get in a car with someone. So imagine that your chances are very slim. You get a couple cars a day, so you really don't have a choice. If someone stops you, you're getting in the car with them. And at Andover Road, I remember there was a little drop off behind the road that I hid Riley behind, because I am a female hiking with a big dog. The chances of someone stopping for me and a dog are pretty much 0 to none, but the chances of someone stopping for a younger female, are going to be a little bit better without the dog. So I hid Riley behind a tree under the ledge, so it was just me. And I stood on the side of the road and I hitched. And you want to be on the side of the road of the direction that you want to be going to get somewhere. It really doesn't matter at this point, because, again, if a car comes by, you want to stop the car. But you want to be on the side of the road where the direction the car is coming, the direction that you want to be going. So if I'm looking south, I was hitching to go east because I knew that the town was east of where I was. I remember a car of a couple, it was either 2 or 3, like a truck drove by at like 2 or 3 minutes, and they just kind of like looked at me as I was hitchhiking, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really comfortable with that one. Thankfully, they didn't stop. But we were there for about an hour, and nothing happened. Other than that one car, no one came by. So we hit our limit of time, so we just kept hiking, and I knew that we had one road left the following day. So we just hiked as far as we could that day. Again, I'm starting to get very, very hungry because I'm drastically rationing food now. It's not just like, okay, I need to cut like 1,000 calories out of my food each day. Like, I need to cut like half my food in half, essentially. So I was starving. And the hungrier you get, the more you want to eat. So I ended up eating way more than I should have been, which meant I had even less food. It just wasn't a good situation. But anyways, so we get to camp after Andover. I'm crunching the numbers again in the trail guide and how much food we have left. And I think we have about like 2 days left. I think we got like a 4 or 5 day hike to get to Pinkham Notch. So definitely don't have enough food. The following morning, we're going to be at East B Road. We're going to spend 2 hours hitchhiking there. And then after 2 hours, we're just going to have to hike 10 minimum miles to get to whatever is at, like, whatever, like, stop or gas station resupply area that we can find along that road, and then make our way back. So that's a full day of hiking just to get to somewhere and get back. That's 20 miles of just road walking. It's not just like driving. So it was a hard pill to swallow, but that's where we are at with our food. So we wake up that morning. It had rained overnight and starting to get really cold, so there was fog everywhere. You couldn't even see the outside of the shelter because it was so foggy in the morning. And of course, my headlamp batteries died. You will learn that if you're hiking in the winter, you need to sleep with the batteries in your sleeping pack. I kept them in a Ziploc bag, but I forgot to put them, I forgot to continuously put them in my sleeping bag to keep them warm, because cold drains batteries. So anything that had a battery in it, my phone, my camera, my solar charger, my spare batteries, my headlamp, anything that had a battery in it, I was sleeping with it in my sleeping bag, usually in the foot of my sleeping bag, because I did have a sleeping bag liner to increase the temperature to go down an additional 30 degrees. So that helped keep everything warm. That's your little hiker trick. Sleep with anything with a battery in it. But anyways, my headlamp batteries had died. I didn't have anything to change them out because they were in my next resupply box. So I was packing everything up without my headlamp. So just like off to like a really shitty start. It was foggy, but it was beautiful. It was very quiet. I do remember there were mice running across the rafters of the shelter that morning. You could hear their like little patters of their feet on top of the rafters. So woke up to mice, woke up to fog, woke up to no lights. And then packing everything up, we're just kind of like dragging, like, okay, we're probably not going to get a car to hitch for us. So we're going to end up just road walking 20 miles today to hopefully find food. So just not the best mindset going into it. And then we're getting to East B Road, remember. And then we start hiking and there's like a slight drizzle rain. It's just like reiterating like this is gonna suck today. It's just not fun. There's fog, you have rain hitting. I don't feel like grabbing my rain gear, so we're just like constantly getting hit by rain. And then we start to like make our way into the woods a little bit, and I just hear this large crash. And Riley and I stop. Riley just keeps like waddling around, and I grab her by the harness and pull her back, and we just stay still. Because the last time this happened, it was a bear. So we heard this huge crash. We just stop. I'm looking around. I look over to my right, and there are two moose over to the side of us, about maybe like 50 yards away. You can see them very clearly through the trees. There is a bull and a cow, so a male and a female, and it's mating season, which I had been told maybe like a week ago that we had already left moose area. So like in Maine is where you're mainly going to find the moose, especially northern Maine. As you make your way south, it's less and less likely you're going to see a moose in the area. So we had been told a while ago that we weren't going to be seeing any moose, and that's something I really wanted to see on my hike. But we stopped because we heard something and we saw two moose. So we just kind of like sat and watched this bull and this cow just kind of like walking around through the trees, eating, and then they just walked away. It was like for 10 minutes we just sat and watched, and it was really cool. It was really neat experience to have with just me and Riley. It was very calming, very, very, very cool experience. And that's why I have the moose on my arm. Well, that's not why. We're going to get to that in a second. But so again, male and female moose, okay? Bull and cow. I'm like, okay, like, and like by the time like the moose had like walked away, the sun started to come out, so it started to get very bright and like uplifting. So we kept hiking. I'm like, okay, we have a few more miles to get to East B. We're gonna get a car. Car's gonna stop for us. We're gonna get a ride. We're gonna get food. We're gonna get back on the trail. It's gonna be great. And we're getting closer and closer and closer to East B. And then as we get about a mile from East B, there are two hikers coming up the trail, a male and a female. They're heading north. And we stop and say hi. They like are loving Riley because they have a dog back home apparently. They're also through hiking, but they're doing this section, this last bit. I believe it was just like all of Maine. They were doing it. They were spotting their cars. So they had one car parked at the southern spot of where they were hiking, and they had another car spotted or parked at the northern spot. And once they hiked from the southern car to the northern car, they drive the northern car back and then drive both cars up to where they left and like start again. So they're just like hopping their way up to finish their through hike. But their names were, I believe it was fiction and nonfiction. Yeah, fiction and nonfiction. They're a married couple and they're through hiking together. But this last section they were spotting their cars for. And they're asking how we're doing. And I kind of start to like stutter, like get a little choked up because I'm like, we don't have enough food. How's the hitching up on East B? Because we're going to try to hitch our way into town to get food because we're not going to make it to Pinkham Notch. And they're like, there's no cars. Like we didn't see a single car when we drove in. And like my hopes just sank. And they're like, oh, like here, take our car. And I just stopped. I'm like, what do you mean take your car? They're like, here are our keys. Take our car. I think the nearest town was like 20-minute drive, like just down a road, 20-minute drive. But there's like a little gas station. You and your dog can just take the car, spend as much time as you want resupplying at the gas station, just bring it back, put the keys underneath the tire, just like hide them a little bit, and then we'll come back and grab it. And I just didn't have words. I just could find nothing to say. They put the keys in my hand and closed my hand, and they're like, we have been gifted so much trail magic on our hike. We just have been looking for a chance to bestow the trail magic on someone else in a way that we can really make a difference to them. And this is our opportunity. Like you have given us that opportunity. And like, I want to cry just thinking about it, but they gave me their car, a complete stranger, to drive to town to get food because they knew how desperate I was for food and how great the trail community is to one another. And so I remember I took the keys, we said goodbye, I rounded a corner, called my mom and cried about telling her what just happened because we didn't have food and these amazing people just completely came out of nowhere and like essentially saved our lives. But we got to drive to town, grab some food. We just hung out at the gas station. I filled up their car with gas and then we drove it back, left the keys underneath the tire. I left them some chocolate bars in the car as well. And then we kept hiking, but we were able to get our resupply. That's what the trail magic really is on trails. People looking out for one another, doing selfless acts to just help each other because that's what the trail community is about. And then that is what the moose tattoo is for, because I saw a bull and a cow moose, and then about 30 minutes later I ran into a man and a female hiker that just gave me the greatest gift that they could on the trail, completely selfless, looking out for other hikers like myself. So I made sure I paid it forward to other hikers as well, and it's something that I still like to do whenever I have an opportunity to do that. But by far the greatest day on the trail, it really just stuck with me how wonderful this community is. And I hope that you can also be as giving to other people as well and not like always see what could be bad or what could be negative in a situation like that. Instead, be giving, be positive. Don't necessarily give your car to someone you don't know. That was kind of crazy. But be thoughtful for other people because that's what trail magic, that's what the trail community is all about. So we're going to leave it there and we'll pick up with getting to Pinkham Notch on the next one.